Okay, now I want to just make sure that my hold down method is going to be appropriate um, for machining this, and that I'm going to have adequate clearance between my clamps and any kind of tool that I might have. And so I know the clamps that I have are 1 inch wide, that I'm going to put probably in each one of these corners. And so what I do like to do on all my projects, especially the ones that have hold down clamps, is I actually like to model what the stock is going to look like and model any avoidance areas. And so what I've done is I'll just turn this off and I'll turn this on here. And so this is actually my stock, and these cutout areas are where my clamps are going to be. This is just a good way to, tell Fusion that if you're creating any kind of tool paths, to avoid this area. It won't penetrate that area because it's not actually stock. And so what I'm going to do now is switch back to the manufacturing environment, and you can see here that I might have a potential problem, with this, just visually, looking at that. And so we'll deal with that in a minute. But here what I want to do is tell Fusion that I want to use this as my stock. And so if we go here to stock, instead of choosing fixed box size, we can say from a solid, and then we can actually pick this body that I've created here, called stock. And now when I go through this, it's going to avoid any areas here. So to show you what that might be, as a good example, I'm going to put a facing operation on top. And you can see here that this operation on top, will collide with the clamps that I have in place. What I can do is select the actual stock contours, and now my facing operation will only face within those contoured areas. You can always select your contours, with any operation that you have inside of Fusion. I don't need this operation, so I'll delete it. And so now I've got a way to define my keep out areas, and now what I might need to do, I'm just going to go adjust my model to move these holes out of the way. So if you remember earlier, we can always scroll back in time to kind of see where things are. And so I can see my hole here. I have a location that's defining that. I'm going to make that 2. And now it looks like I have adequate clearance to go around that. So now if we go back to manufacture, I'm going to regenerate my tool paths. And let's do another simulation. Simulation is free, so use it often. It'll help avoid a lot of problems that you might run into as you're doing different projects. So I'm going to create a problem, and here we're going to just take a look at the heights. So my bottom height is currently at the whole bottom. I'm going to say it's going to be at the model bottom minus 2 inches. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and simulate this. Here I have stop on collision turned on. You can see down in my bar here that Fusion's already identified those collisions for me. So let's go ahead and play through this. And there's where it's important, to have the tool holder modeled, because now I'm getting an indicator that my holder is going to collide with my actual stock. Let's go ahead and set that back. The whole bottom. And I missed that, so let's go ahead and edit 0. Now I have my part corrected. The very last thing we're ready to do is post this. Now with Fusion, if we happen to be using the same tool for this entire cutting process, and so what I can do is post the entire, all the operations. Here I have selected the Carbide 3D. We'll go ahead and hit post. You can give it a name. And with Fusion, you get this tool called Brackets, which will display your post-processing file in it, your G-code. And now you're ready to load that G-code file into Carbide Motion. The next video will show setting this up on the machine and actually cutting it.